Call the meeting to order. This Board of Works and Safety on this Monday, March 18th, 2019. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of March 4th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 4th.
I'll second that. If there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is awarding of bids for the demolition of 818 West 7th Street.
Mr. President, we've had the opportunity to review the bids. Smith & Sons Excavating is the lowest, most responsive bidder for 818 West 7th Street in the amount of $12,000, and we recommend award to Smith & Sons Excavating.
For discussion, I call for a motion.
Make a motion to award the bid for demolition of 818 West 7th Street to Smith & Sons in the sum of $12,000.
I'll second that motion, and if there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is awarding of a bid for demolition of 834 Martin Luther King Drive.
Paving Excavating Company, Inc. is the lowest, most responsive bidder for this project in the amount of $6,800, and recommend award to Paving Excavating Co. for 834 Martin Luther King Drive.
I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
Make a motion to award the bid for demolition of 834 Martin Luther Drive to Pavey & Sons for $6,800.
I'll second that motion. No further discussion. I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is another awarding a bid for the demolition of 116 Combs Street.
Acting Contracting LLC is the lowest, most responsive bidder for 116 Combs Street in the amount of $9,360, and recommend award to Acting Contracting LLC.
No further discussion. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to award the bid for the demolition of 116 Combs Street to Acting Contracting LLC in the sum of $9,360.
I'll second that motion, and there's no further discussion. I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is opening up bids for the sale of city property, Buffalo Street, parcel 460129382013-000-022.
This isn't technically an opening of bids. The bids were technically open when someone deposits a bid in the clerk's office. We received one bid that's from Angel Sherbaum in the amount of $500 for said property.
This does not equal what our minimum bid was, correct?
The starting bid was $4,500. Someone can do less than that amount. This is a special exception to the general rule. The city, I believe, did acquire this property from the county several years ago when it went through commissioner's sale. I did double check with all the departments. No one was adverse to selling this, so it's really up to your discretion at this point.
Don't we have costs involved in the advertising?
Of course, I'm not sure how much they are though.
I believe it was like $69, $70 for that.
It's not that much.
Yeah, I thought we were asking for $100 for that process, or no?
Well, we added that into the $4,500.
Okay,
That was included in that.
Okay.
Mhm. So, I mean, technically it's up to this board. Do you want it to go back on the tax roll so that we don't have to maintain another property? Basically, that's the analysis at this point in time.
Okay. What's your pleasure?
I think I'll make a motion to approve the bid for $500 for property on Buffalo Street, parcel number 4601-299-382-013.000-022 in the sum of $500.
Even though my original idea was to vote against this, I think you're right, and I'll second your motion and call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is request for street sidewalk closure. Eric Campbell, General Manager, Director of Operations, St. Joe Youngman Society, is requesting the closure of Tillotson Street from Franklin to Washington, along with the closure of sidewalk on the north side of Tillotson Street for the annual St. Joe Festival to be held June 21, 22, and 23, 2019.
Morning, Board. Spike Peller, Michigan City Engineer. I'm also kind of representing the police department on this because they're in training. I believe you have an email from the police indicating what police thinks, and they recommend approval of this request, and so do I.
Any further discussion? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the request for street and sidewalk closure of Tillotson Street from Franklin to Washington Street, along with the closure of the sidewalk on the north side of Tillotson Street for the annual St. Joe Festival to be held June 21st, 22nd, and 23rd.
I'll second that motion. If there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is request for open air market by Brother Sean Gray, St. Stanislaus Parish, requesting open air market from Saturday, May 4th through October 5th, 2019, from 6 o'clock in the morning to 2 p.m., along with the closure of the alleyway between Franklin and Pine Street during that same time.
Good morning. My name is Brother Sean. I'm a Holy Cross brother from Notre Dame, assigned to St. Stanislaus Parish. As it was read, I'm requesting to have our farmers market again this year from May 4th to October 5th. And at the same time, in our property, there's a alleyway that in a sense does not serve any purpose, but we have to close it because we put tents on top of it. So it would be between the hours of 6 and 2.
It'll just be closed during the time.
Right. It's really not used, but it's there.
It's there, I know.
Correct, and we've closed it for the last few years. So
Yes.
We have drafted a license agreement between the city and the church for the closure of it, and we just asked for the renewal of the license agreement again as well.
Okay.
And Brother Sean will be bringing the certificate of insurance once he gets it.
Correct.
Okay. Any further discussion? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for the open air market from Saturday, May 4th through October 5th, 2019, from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., along with the closure of the alleyway between Franklin and Pine Street during that time. Also, approval of the license agreement and pending the receipt of the certificate of insurance.
I'll second that motion. And if we have no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next item on the agenda is a request for open air market. No, I did that one. Okay. Is a request for stop signs. Brother Sean Gray, St. Stanislaus Parish, Marquette High School, is requesting the placement of 2 stop signs at the corner of Washington and 10th Streets.
I wear different hats besides running a farmer's market. I'm also a bus driver. And the reason I'm asking is if you drive down Washington from, it would be the Michigan Boulevard, all the way down to 11th Street, there's a stop sign or a stop light all the way up to 11th and then continues on, except on 10th Street. And the reason I'm requesting that is if you're on 10th Street going towards Marquette, you have to not only take care of your students, but you have to look to the left, which you would do anyway, and you have the stoplight at 11th Street, and then when you turn to the right, you have another stop sign on 9th Street. And I'm just thinking for the safety, it would be so much convenient if we could have a stop sign there just for the safety of our students, and so that was the rationale behind it.
Our policeman of the day.
That's right. Spike Keller, Michigan City engineer. I'll just read what Traffic Division has said. It says, we recommend denial of this request due to our concerns that heavy traffic during the summer weekends may back up into 11th Street, creating a safety issue with the South Shore. We recommend the installation of, quote, cross traffic does not stop sign posted underneath the existing stop signs. And I kind of agree with the officer.
Okay. Any other discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to deny the request for stop signs at the corner of Washington and 10th Street. However, I would also move that there be a cross-traffic does not stop sign installed on each of the existing stop signs.
I'll second that motion. If there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
We'll see how that works
See what
out.
happens. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a request for street light. Laverne Childs, 307 Walker Street, is requesting a street light to be placed in the middle of the 300 block of Walker Street for public safety issues.
Good morning. My name's Laverne Childs, and I reside at 307 Walker Street. Since we moved there in November of 2017, our vehicles have been broken into 3 times at night. I have copies of 2 of the reports. The first time they broke into my vehicle, they clamped my vehicle out. Well, the second time they broke into it, there was nothing in there, so they didn't take anything. But just recently, they tried to break into my husband's car by trying to break his window. I had taken video of the block from, if you come in off of 8th Street on Walker, from the 200 block all the way down to the 400 block at the corner of Vale and Walker. It is pitch black. We have street lights at the corner of Tryon and Walker and Vale and Walker. Yes, the corners are very lit, but the middle of the block is completely dark on both sides. So I have these reports if you guys need them. And we're just requesting some type of street light, stop light, or whatever be placed in the middle of our block, on the 300 block of Walker, so that it is lit up just as good as the corners are. And I even went down so far as to go down to the 400 block. There's 3 lights in the middle of the block down there. But the 200 block and the 300 block, there's nothing in the middle of the block to prevent that darkness. And unfortunately, people walk the streets at night, and this is what happens.
Okay.
Spike Keller, Michigan City engineer, and I'll read what Officer Lewinsky has recommended. He says, we recommend denial of this request as it has been common practice to only install lighting at intersections. Our suggestion would be for the homeowner to install their own dusk to dawn light, and those cost about $12 a month.
Any further? Pardon?
May I add something to that?
Sure.
Why should this be the burden of the homeowner to add something additional to their NIPSCO bill when NIPSCO rates are already sky high and they're trying to increase them any further? When the city can just put one stoplight, one light in the middle of the block, just like it is in the 400 block. This is a danger because it is extremely dark out there at night.
There is a light in the middle of the block?
Not in the middle of the block of the 300 block. There's a light in the middle of the block of the 400 block.
Is that right? think we'll refer it back to the police and get it.
Okay, thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
Yes, I will make a motion to remove this matter of the street light in the middle of the 300 block of Walker Street back to the police department.
I'll second that motion. Yes. And if there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is a request for parking signs by Kimberly and James Svagate Gross, 78 Gardens, 228 West 8th Street, requesting designated parking signs be placed on the city's right-of-way in the 200 block of West 8th in front of their business during operations April 15th through November 1st of each year.
Spike Keller, Michigan City Engineer, and again, I'll read the Traffic Division Commander's recommendation. It says, "We recommend denial of this request due to the fact that it has been the city's practice not to assign public parking spaces to individual businesses due to the difficulty in enforcing the signage. All previous such requests have been denied."
Any further discussion?
Yes, I'd like to say something.
Okay?
Thank you for your time. We have problems with people parking long periods of time in front of our store, and there's 3 parking spots in question. And my understanding, the Lang Meat Market had the same problem. The solution to that problem was they put up 15-minute parking signs. We'd be very appreciative if that could be placed in those 3 parking spots. So, you know, if the solution was
Still in
okay.
effect
What's that?
at the meat market?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. You need to state your name and address.
My name is James Gross. This is my wife, Kimberly Gross. And the place of business is 228 West 8th Street,
Okay,
Michigan City, Indiana.
thank you.
So we're just asking for the same solution that Langs have.
We'll place this on our pending list and we'll check it out.
Okay.
I'll have it. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to place the matter of the parking signs between the and the right of way at 200 block of the West 8th Street on our pending items list.
I'll second that motion. If there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye. Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is a request for sidewalk closure. Abdul Ibrahim All Brick LLC is requesting to close the sidewalk along Harrison and Franklin Street for the remodeling of Restaurant Lego, located at 2701 Franklin Street from April 2nd through April 30th.
Morning, Board. My name is Abdul Ibrahim. I recently purchased 2701 through 2703 Franklin Street. Hoping on April 1st, we're going to conduct a complete remodel of the building. We're planning on spending a little over $250,000 on the remodel of the building. The sidewalks along the side are kind of crumbling and falling apart. There's no curb, no ballards to stop traffic or cars from possibly hitting the building. What we're hoping to do here is get the assistance from the city to pour new walks with possibly a curb. We have quotes already for the work, and we're just hoping to obtain assistance because we've already blown past our initial budget.
Okay.
I'd also like to add, we'd also like to seek a city-provided trash can in front of the building along the landscaping area. Every day I drive by there, I'm picking up tumbleweeds worth of trash. Nobody is responsibly throwing the garbage away. There's a liquor store across the street. I'm not saying it's the reason, but it's definitely contributing.
Okay. Spike, you.
Spike Keller, Michigan City Engineer. About the city fixing the sidewalks, that's kind of a part of the would be a part of the city sidewalk and street program. And that I take to the mayor, and he decides kind of what he wants to do. Garbage can, I guess that would be up to someone else. The only thing I say about the closure would be that it comply with ADA standards for closing a sidewalk.
Okay. Yes, Don.
Morning, board members, Council President Don Przybylski, and I'm here to stand behind Abdul and his request. I met with Abdul Friday down by the Leo Restaurant sidewalk request, and the sidewalk does need to be replaced. It's uneven, it's not ADA accessible, and would cause a hazard both to the restaurant folks going in there and also to the folks going into the barber shop, which is right around the corner from the restaurant. And the way I also look at this is a young entrepreneur trying to invest close to $250,000 into a building in the Midtown area, which is between 11th and Cool Spring Ave. And when can we ever think of $250,000 being invested into a building in that particular area? We're talking about new windows. We're talking about a whole new structure in the back. We're talking about possibly employing from 15 to 30 people now. And what the request is, just like Abdul said, is to replace the sidewalk and put some type of parking barrier so cars will not go up onto the sidewalk. And so cars will not go up onto the sidewalk and possibly roll through the building if you're familiar with the area. Also, they're not ADA compliant. There's cracks and uneven, like I said. And that if we take a look back, take for example here, the Elson Legacy Apartments, which the City Redevelopment Commission was involved with. The Redevelopment Commission gave that developer $1 million to start that project. Gave that developer $1 million to start that project. Now here's a gentleman, took out a loan, and he's ready to go to work on his building in the Midtown area, and we're looking at possibly $30,000 for a sidewalk to make it ADA compliant like it should be to begin with. And this is what this gentleman, and it's only fair that the city helps this gentleman out. Also, I showed the mayor, he's familiar with this sidewalk. I showed him yesterday the sidewalk, and he said he's aware of it, and he will be talking to the city engineer to hopefully get this repaired. And he's aware of the trash receptacle that the gentleman is requesting, and whoever he assigns that to, I have no idea, but he is familiar with it. I think the mayor said he'd have to order some trash receptacles because he didn't think the city had any at this time. So my request to the board is that we follow through and that we assign the city engineer and request the mayor to honor this gentleman's request so that he can have an ADA compliant sidewalk for his customers and for the citizens that'll be walking through that neighborhood using the sidewalk. Thank you.
Councilwoman Candace Silvas for representing the Second Ward. I am also here in support of this project. Here we have an individual who is willing and interested in investing in the Midtown project. Our Midtown project has been a focus of our Michigan City Plan for several years now. And here we have an entrepreneur taking initiative and wanting to get this implemented. It is only right for our city to not only install the projects that should be completed anyway, since they do need to be repaired and ADA compliant, but to stand up and support our neighborhoods. And I also know that Councilman Johnny Stimley was also wanting to support this, but he was unable to meet the meeting today. So thank you.
Okay. I don't see anything on this request other than the closure of the sidewalk.
Exactly.
Right,
So
and I
that's
think
all
that's,
that's before
yeah, and I
us.
think that's what you can recommend, making it ADA compliant, the closure, and I think it's gonna have to be a discussion between, the mayor and me, and finding the money to repair the sidewalk. We've got, multi-millions of dollars worth of sidewalks to repair in the city, and, if he wants to repair this one sooner rather than later, that's kind of his prerogative.
I think all that's before us is a request to close the sidewalk. Anything else we could place on a pending list? Any other requests that you are making at this time?
And I will talk to the mayor.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for sidewalk closure only along Harrison and Franklin Street for the remodeling of the restaurant titled Leo, located at 2701 Franklin Street from April 2nd through April 30th, 2019. And the instruction is to place these other matters on our pending item list, those other matters being a replacement sidewalk and also a trash can at that location, the closure to be ADA compliant.
We also need the certificate of insurance naming the city as additional insured as well.
I do recall writing something about the sidewalk and the curbs in the application. I don't know what got put on just on the board here, but I believe there was some writing about the curbs, the sidewalks, and bringing it ADA compliant on my initial application to meet this board.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
So, but I'll second that motion. There's no further discussion. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, aye. Motion carries. So we'll carry over the request to our pending list, if she didn't add it. Okay. Next item on the agenda is horizontal drilling permit request by Chad Murray, Crown Castle, Lombard, Illinois. Is requesting a horizontal directional drilling permit for the placement of a new vault to intercept at 110 Mankey Road. This is for informational purposes only, as no boring will take place.
Right, Spike Keller, Michigan City Engineer. The next three are Crown Castle requests, and we actually received 3 requests. This first one, there's no directional boring, so I don't know why they're separated, but that's okay.
So there's really nothing for us to do on that.
Correct.
Okay, then we'll skip to the next.
But the next 2, there is.
The next one is for drilling permit for bore placement of underground fiber optic cable, project location West 4th Street and Huron Street.
Yes, they're requesting horizontal an HDD permit. They're going to be putting in about 180 feet of boring. The fee will be $18. The departments have looked at this, and they don't have any problem, and I don't have a problem with this.
Mr. Peller, are you sure all the departments have looked at it? According to my notes, I have that there are several departments that haven't provided their feedback yet.
Which ones are those?
Central Maintenance, we never received anything from your department, but you're here, you could speak on it. The Fire Department, Police Department, Sanitary, and Transit.
The only one that I would be concerned about would be sanitary.
Sanitary hasn't responded, according to my notes.
Well, then probably this one and the next one can go on pending.
I believe they want to start, as soon as possible.
I've looked at it and I don't see a problem with, because they have to inform the sanitary district and the water department, 48 hours before they commence, and which gives the sanitary district and the water department time to actually go out there and see if they've got any problems.
Oh, no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for horizontal drilling permit to do directional bore for placement of an underground fiber optic cable located at West 4th Street and Huron Street. And that would be subject to you, Mr. Peller, getting approval from Mr. Cush.
Cuss.
Cush.
Guys,
Okay.
All right,
And can we get something in writing so it could be deposited in the clerk's office
Right.
that you have the approval here today?
now, do you need my writing or does my signature on the application suffice?
Well, obviously you're here today, but we're concerned about Mr. Cuss at this
Right,
point in
okay.
time.
All right,
I'll second that motion. If there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye. Motion carries. Next item is another request for a horizontal drilling permit, and I would imagine that the same motion could be made for that.
okay, and the fee, they're putting in 726 feet, or the fee would be $72.60.
Entertain a motion.
Likewise, I'll make the same motion to approve the horizontal drilling permit for directional bore for placement of underground fiber optic cable located at Hitchcock Street and Addison Street, subject to Mr. Peller's submitting written approval from Mr. Cuss.
I'll second that motion. No further discussion. I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye. Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is another horizontal drilling permit by Dennis Bunt, AT&T South Bend, requesting a horizontal directional drilling permit to trench 75 feet from existing closure to new steel power pole to place cable at Ohio Street and Southwind Drive. And that's for informational purposes.
Right, they're not directional boring, they're trenching.
Whatever. Okay, the next item on the agenda then is an engineering service agreement contract between the City of Michigan City Board of Public Works and Ciorba Group, Inc. for professional engineering services and related services effective January 1, 2019, and not to exceed $50,000.
Yes, Ciorba has been, in the past, or this year, in 2019, did some monitoring of the HDD inspection, and this will basically pay for their 2019 invoice, and if I use them again for something, it's also money available.
Okay. Any further discussion? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the engineering service agreement between the Michigan City Board of Works and Safety and Ciorba Group for professional engineering services related to services effective January 1st, 2019, not to exceed $50,000.
I'll second that motion, and if there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a possession of vehicle request. The Police Department is requesting approval for travelers insurance to take possession of a 2018 Ford Explorer Police Interceptor Sport utility vehicle, which was involved in a collision on February 13, 2019, and is a total wreck.
Travelers is our insurance carrier. They've declared one of our vehicles a total loss. Chief Urbanzic's asking to relinquish this vehicle to Travelers so we can get the insurance proceeds. He will be coming back to this board at a later date to get a new vehicle through, I believe, a quote process when he has found sufficient quotes.
Any further discussion? If I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the request for travelers to take possession of the 2018 Ford Explorer Police Interceptor Sports Utility Vehicle identification number 1FM5KAR5JGB34082 that was involved in a collision on February 13th.
I'll second that motion. If there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval of a service agreement between the Michigan City Police Department and the Workforce Health for the Wellness Fitness Initiative physical exams for 2019.
This is similar to last year's request from the police department for their fitness physicals, and ask for approval of the same.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the service agreement between the Workforce Health for Wellness Fitness Initiative physical exam for 2019 for the Michigan City Police Department.
I'll second that motion. If there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is the annual physical fitness testing for the Michigan City Police Department has been scheduled for this spring 2019 to be held from Tuesday, April 2nd through Wednesday, April 24th, 2019, and this is for informational purposes only. Next item on the agenda is a request for a service agreement for the Public Safety Medical PSM agreement for the fire department to do the 2019 fire department physical exams.
This contract, again, is similar to the police department's contract, similar to our previous year's contracts. I believe the fees went up just slightly, but Andrea Smith and Chief have both agreed that this is doable and asked for permission to approve this agreement.
No further discussion, I call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the service agreement for Public Safety Medical PSM for the service to do with the 2019 Fire Department physical exam.
I'll second that motion. No further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the annual physical fitness testing for the Michigan City Fire Department, which is scheduled for their spring of 2019 to be held from Tuesday, April 2nd, 2019 through Thursday, April 25th, 2019. This is for informational purposes only. Next item on the agenda is disciplinary extension request by Randy Novak, Chief of the Michigan City Fire Department, requesting to extend the time to investigate a disciplinary issue until March 22nd, 2019. This is for informational purposes only. Next item on the agenda is a street closure request. Josh Veselitsky, Vero Design and Build is requesting a partial closure of south side of West 4th Street along with the alley behind 401 Franklin Street during April 1 to 30th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Good morning, Board. Thanks for hearing this request today. My appearance today is, my name is Josh Wasilski from Vero Design Build. I'm also representing John Burns, the owner of the property at 401 Franklin. My appearance today is supplemented by a March 13th request to the clerk and a March 8th memorandum, including a schematic that shows the details of the temporary closures that we have slated for the construction at 401 Franklin. Item A is a temporary alley closure, which is a seldom used alley from our experience on the job site. Access remains to the alley as a thoroughfare from other points of entry off of Franklin Street as well for residents and businesses. We expect that closure to take realistically 2 to 3 days for them to do the underground conduit burial that they need for NIPSCO to bring it to the pole. The second partial closure that we're asking for is out on Franklin Street. The water service that's planned for that building will require about a 5 to 7 foot stretch of sidewalk to be closed in that area. We request the temporary closure of that, as well in an ADA compliant fashion. during the dates when that sidewalk needs to be broken up and then remediated by the owner for the new service to be installed. The third closure we are asking for is a partial closure in that same location on Franklin Street. The sidewalk will need to be remediated there. The owner is taking care of it as well with a new curb. And the last temporary partial lane closures along 4th Street for storm and water service through the water department and storm and sanitation department. That one is the only one that is a little bit more intrusive into the public way. Fortunately, there is a street cut or a curb cut. If you can envision, there's angled parking right across from the library there. And the area that we need to go into isn't actually a thoroughfare for vehicles. It's within the area where that curb cut comes out. So I don't really envision any traffic issues there as well.
Spike Keller, Michigan City Engineer. I looked at the situation and I recommend approval.
Okay. Any further discussion? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for street closure for partial closure of the south side of West 4th Street along the alley behind 401 Franklin Street during April 1 through 30th at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with all the components that have been articulated.
I'll second that motion. If there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is another request for street closure by Dave Pfeiffer, St. Paul Lutheran Church and School, requesting the use of the no parking lane on the west side of Pine Street to form a drive-through order pickup lane for their annual fish fry on Friday, April 26th. And this is an annual affair, correct?
Right, and your note from the traffic division recommends approval, as do I.
Okay. For discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the request for street closure for the use of the no parking lane on the west side of Pine Street to form a drive-through order pickup lane for the annual fish fry on Friday, April 26th. That's for St. Paul's Lutheran Church and School.
I'll second the motion. Now, Mr. Pfeiffer would like to speak.
No, I was taking approval.
We're ready to vote on your motion, on the motion.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's no, excuse me, if there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you for your
Motion
time.
granted. Next on the agenda is request to solicit bids by Bob Zonder, Central Maintenance, is requesting to solicit bids for a purchase of a 2020 tandem axle dump truck with trade-in of one vehicle.
Good morning.
Good morning.
David Farmer, Michigan City Street Department. I'm here for Robert Zonder. We would like to purchase a new 2020 tandem axle dump truck to replace one of our older vehicles that we use for snow plowing. The vehicle is in really bad shape and needs to be replaced. And we feel like we would like to get a new truck.
There's money in the budget that's already been approved for 2019 for this purchase, correct?
Yes.
How old is the vehicle?
It's a 2000.
I guess it's used.
It has been, yes.
Not many drive a 20-year-old.
Right.
Further discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the request to solicit bids for the purchase of the 2020 tandem axle dump truck with trade-in of one vehicle.
I'll second that motion. If there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next item on the agenda is a contract for advertising. Abigail Thayer Kucha, event coordinator for the City of Michigan City, is requesting approval of a marketing contract with the Beecher Weekly newspaper for advertising events in Michigan City for a total of $2,829. Any discussion? entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for advertising with the Beecher Weekly newspaper for advertising events in the city of Michigan City in the sum of $2,829.
I'll second that motion, and if there's no further discussion, call for the vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval of claims and payroll.
Make a motion to approve the claims and payroll as presented.
I'll second that motion. If there's no further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye. Motion carries. Next item is the unfinished business pending list. The first item on that is a request by Sean Fitzpatrick to request streetlights on Paz Road for pedestrian safety.
Spike Peller, Michigan City Engineer. I have an email from both Jeff Lewinsky and Chief Swistek, and I'll read that to you so that you get an idea of what's going on here. It says, according to Jeff, officer, I pulled the accident stats for all of Paz Road for the last 10 years. We have had a total of 41 accidents on Paz roads, including one accident involving a pedestrian that was struck and received a broken leg. While directing traffic at the high school regional basketball game this past Saturday night, I confirmed that the area is very dark at night and in need of street lighting. If funding becomes an issue, and that's something I'm still looking at, I would recommend a minimum that we place street lights near each of the high school driveways and the intersection of Paz and Woodland, along with the entrance to Normandy Village and the intersection of Paz and Lindsay. And then Chief Swistek commented on this email. He says, I agree, street lights are needed along the roadway, and I did some calculations and I said we need 25 of them. Maybe too many. Sidewalk is another needed from Cleveland to Canterbury Apartments, and if they were installed, then maybe the decorative lighting. Could this be a Southside TIF project for the future? Till then, install a few street lights along the roadway. One thing that I thought about, with these dusk to dawn lights, and I don't know what it costs monthly for, and I'm trying to get that information from the accounting people because they pay for it. And I think it's pretty high. I mean, I heard at one time it was like $100, $200 a month for a street light, but that doesn't seem correct. But one possibility might be, and I don't think the city has done this, would be to put in these dusk to dawn lights, and they're $12 or $16.50 a month. I don't know if the city has ever done that, but I'd like to look into that. So I recommend, and I'm going to do some luminary studies to see where and we should put street lights and the cost, and probably bring that back to you at the next board meeting.
Would that be in the Southside TIF district?
I don't know.
I didn't think.
It's
going to be close.
Although they do have some leeway as far as,
the area
around. I mean, if it benefits the TIF area, sometimes they can do things outside the actual boundaries. But I'll look into all this stuff.
So we'll keep it on the pending list.
Yes, please.
Okay. Gladly. Any more comments, Sean? Okay. Next item on the agenda is, it's been there for a year, almost. Order to demolish 609 Benton Street. Any further developments? No?
Okay, no.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is a request by Maludas and Bob Hart to purchase city property on Fogarty Street. Is there any further development? Legal?
I am still working on this request. I have an email into Mr. Phillips, and I'm waiting for a response from him on.
Okay, we'll keep it on. And we don't need to recreate till the next month. That's all our pending list. Anybody from the public wish to speak at this time?
Good morning, my name's Phil Ream at 1011 Franklin Street. I'd like to request the board for a order to demolish a building at 212 Green Street. And Green Street's spelled different ways, but on the file at the tax commissioner's office it's Green. This house has been, I own a house next to it, and this house has been sold and transferred for different sellers and buyers. At one point during the tax snafu, it hadn't paid taxes for like 6-7 years, and then the owner just sold it to somebody who came in. They got it. Then another year later, somebody else come in, and they haven't paid any taxes in there in about 2 years now. The house, since I have the house next to it, I've been in touch with the department that boards up houses, that comes and cleans the yards and all this. So it's been going on for years. It's the worst looking house on the street. It's only half boarded up. People can still get in there and hang out, hang around the property, put truckloads of garbage on the property. Sewer clap is broken in the basement. So I would like to see if I could have the board come look at the house, or I can send pictures to your message. I can do that. It's all gutted on the inside. The roof is shot. It's gonna blow over one of these days.
Okay.
Okay.
We will refer it to the inspection and have them report back at our next meeting.
Okay, thanks everybody.
We'll put it on our pending list.
Move to put this matter on our pending list.
I'll second the motion. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Anybody else from the public wish to speak at this time?
Good morning. I'm Chad Childers, co-owner of Tony's Outboard and Chief's Bait on the west side of Michigan City. Looking for a request for more fishing access, public access. Currently, we've got a lot of fish in the area, coho, and we are coho capital of the world. A lot of people come here to fish, and we're having a problem with it's just too crowded with the areas that we've got now. So along the Trail Creek corridor, I guess along the harbor area would be a nice place to do it. We've got the boardwalk there that is in pretty rough shape, as well as it sits too high off the water in order to net a fish or actually catch the fish. So kind of thinking maybe floatable docks along that area. Wouldn't cost that much money, be a matter of some labor. Also a request for signs for more fishing area. We've got the walk there that leads to the boardwalk, but there's no sign on the gate. A lot of times the gate is partially closed and it just doesn't look presentable for fishermen. They don't know where to go. I direct people every day to different areas. We've got a big map that I use to kind of direct people in the area in order to put them down there to fish. But overall, fishing is a big thing in Michigan City, and I would like for the city to help with signage and also public access.
Okay.
Thank you.
Would this be the department or would it be the Parks and Rec?
It might be Parks and Rec.
Have you been to their board meeting?
Nope.
Probably wouldn't hurt.
I'll talk to them.
I mean, we'll do what we can, but a lot of that's in the park department
Sure.
jurisdiction, so.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public wish to speak at this time? If not, board comments.
I have none.
You have none? I was hoping Mr. Murphy'd be here. I'd like to find out. I've heard that we're having problems with some of the city loans, and I wondered where we stood on those. If there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second that motion. No further discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor, aye. Motion carries. We are adjourned.